Hi, this is Nick and I'm with Atlantic Laser Scanning. Today we've got a FARO Focus S-Series scanner and we're going to go through how to go about naming our project and creating subfolders and why we might do that. This instruction is going to be accurate for both the S150 as well as the S350 units. As you can see, we've got the opening screen which is going to show when you initially power up your scanner. We're going to go to the Manage option in the bottom right-hand corner. And from there, the very first option of Projects, Clusters. At this point, we're going to actually create a project. So the bottom left-hand corner, we've got an Add with an addition sign. We're just going to choose that. And now we've highlighted what's called Default Project Point 1. We're just going to touch that, and it's going to allow us to rename it. This is going to be the overall project name. So this is a building. The building has got 3 floors, and out of the array of buildings we're scanning, this is number 10. We're going to call this building number 10. So we're going to go to the first option, and we're going to give it a name, building 10. We can put a space in there for the numerical value. All right, now our cluster name here is building 10. So if we back up, we see that we've got a project name, main cluster, called building 10. Now we're going to show up on site. We're going to begin scanning on the first floor. So we can now break this scan project up with one single building broken into 3 separate clusters for 3 different floors. So now we would add the bottom left-hand corner, and you see you've got a subcluster underneath building 10. So when you were to download this into the Scene software on your laptop and you see building 10, you would open it up. That's the name of your project. Inside of that project, you're going to have a cluster called, we're going to give it a name. We'll call this floor number 1. Again, we can put a space. As you can see, we've got a cluster name, floor number 1, inside of the parent cluster, which is building number 10. If we like, we can go into the customer. We can name who the customer is. But what we're going to do right now is we're going to go into the file base name here. By clicking this, instead of your scans inside of floor number 1 and project building 10, we're going to actually bring this to more accurately represent which cluster that each of these scans is in. So we can actually call the scans inside of floor number 1, the cluster, floor number 1. But what we cannot do is put any spaces between the R and the numerical value. If we do, as you see here, we're going to get a warning. It's not going to let us do it. So we just simply don't put a space. Now, as you can see, we've got building number 10 is the name of the project, the parent. The first cluster is floor number 1, and every scan inside of floor number 1 is called floor number 1. We can back out. Now, once we finished scanning floor number 1, we begin scanning the second floor. We go to click or touch building 10. We're going to add, and that's going to give us a sub-cluster inside of building 10. Now you don't want to just add a subcluster when you're already highlighting floor number 1, because it will give you a cluster then inside of floor number 1. That would be if there was maybe a control room inside of floor number 1 that you would want to separate. But because this is simply a second floor in the building, we will make sure that when we add that floor, we are highlighting building 10. So we can come down here to that second sub cluster. And again, we can open that up and we can call it floor 2. We can put a space. Now we've got building 10. We are in the second cluster called floor number 2. And again, go into the name of the scans, the file base name. Again, you're going to have to backspace just to make sure that we don't have any spaces between the R and the 2. Okay. Now, we've got the main project name is building 10. We're in the second floor, and all the scans inside of the second floor cluster are called floor number 2. It's going to be floor number 2, scan 1, scan 2, scan 3. They're all going to be easily identified by where they are in your project. You can again go through and then touch on building 10, add another subcluster, go in, obviously rename it floor 3. Again, so now by looking at our project, we've got a very easy to understand when project base setup. Once this gets into the scene software, we're going to open up the project called building 10. We're going to have 3 separate clusters, each representing each floor in the building. And inside of each cluster, every scan is going to be named after the floor that the cluster is named after. I hope this helps you guys. As we go back to the initial screen, the next video, we can go into setting up the different profiles depending on the type of project that you're conducting. Thanks and good luck.